Hey everybody. So now that we've had a chance to kind of review the distributive property and the combining like terms, which I highly recommend, and if you didn't do it, I would go back and I would look at that just to make sure your skills in that area are good. Now we're going to put them all to use in these kinds of problems that we're going to work on here. So let's take a look at what we got. So our first problem, you see right away we've got parentheses, so we're going to have to do some distributive property. So hopefully that's kind of coming to your brain here. All right, what we're going to have to do. So I'm going to take this and we'll multiply that -3 times both of the terms in there. We're distributing it. So -3 times 9 is going to give me -27. And then -3 times positive x is going to give me -3x. And then that will be equal to 33. So now what we do, hopefully we've recognized from having done enough of this that, okay, I've got constants here and here, and then I only have the variable in one place. So it makes sense to keep the variable where it is, and then just to move this -27 right here over to the other side. So let's do that. Let's move that -27 over to the other side, and we're going to do it by doing the opposite. It's negative, so we want to get rid of it, so we're going to add it. We go plus 27, and that will equal 33 plus 27 is 60. Okay, and then you get -3x. And then what do we do next? Well, we have -3 times x. So the opposite of multiplying, which is what -3 times x is saying, would be dividing. And you don't divide by 3, you divide by -3. Because we did it on this side then, we repeat it to the other side. So our -3's cancel, and you wind up with x is equal to 60 divided by -3 is -20. And then the last step that I like to do, and I'll do this in a different color so you can see it, is I like to, at least in my head, if nothing else, put it in the equation to see if it works. And I've caught more mistakes doing this. All right, so 9 plus -20 is -11 times -3 equals positive 33. Well, let's see. 3 times 11 is 33. And negative times negative is positive, so they equal. And that's what we want. So let's look at another one. All right, so this next problem here, oh, I never erased it. See, I actually did this video already, and I got freaked out by something I was doing at the end, so I stopped making it, and then I realized that what I had done was actually correct. So I didn't need to stop, but I got psyched out by something, so not a big deal. We'll look at this again. Second time is bound to be better, right? So we're going to take this 5, we're going to distribute it by both of these terms. All right, we're going to go to, we're going to stay with white. All right, so 5 times a is 5a, and then 5 times -7 is -35. Let's bring our fence down, and then we've got 25. All right, don't mind the sound in the background. I think that's my son eating crackers or something like that. So we've got 5a minus 35 equals 25. So what we're going to do then is we want to get this 5a by itself on this side of the equation. So in order to do that, we got to get rid of the number. So the number is -35. You get rid of it by adding the opposite. So that's exactly what we'll do. -35 and 35 cancels. 25 plus 35 gives us 60. So you have 5a is equal to 60. Divide both sides by 5. Then you wind up with a is equal to 12. And then if I put 12 into that original equation, into 5, 12 minus 7 equals 25. Well, 12 minus 7 is 5. And I'm multiplying that by 5, and that is 25. And that's equal to this 25 over here. So a equals 12 looks like a reasonable answer to me. All right, last problem here. All right, so this is kind of ugly. So we'll multiply it out, and then I think we're going to color code it. So I'm going to do that as we multiply it out. All right, so the first thing, anything with the variable, I'm going to put in yellow. All right, so I got -7 times k, so that's going to give me -7k. And then my next term, my numbers I'll do in red. So I got -7 times 9, so that's going to give me -63. And that is going to be equal to, well, it looks like we got another variable coming up next, so we'll switch to yellow. 9 times k is 9k. Let's switch to red for our next one. 9 times negative 5 is negative 45, positive times negative. And then let's switch back over and just write this 14k down. And I did this because there's a lot of wild things people do when they do problems like this, and I get very confused by it. But what the big way to avoid a lot of the problems I see people have is to just make sure you're combining like terms on each side of the equation before you move on. So when you're at this point, honestly you should be stopping yourself and saying, okay, is this side as simplified as it can be? Is this side as simplified as it can be? So the left side, if I look at it, I've got a variable and I've got a number. So yeah, that's as simplified as it can be. But on the right side, I've got a variable here, but I've got a variable here as well. I can combine those. All right, so 9k plus negative 14k is negative 5k. And then I'm just going to rewrite everything else out so that I know exactly what I have and what I got to do next. So at this point, we're ready to rock, and we can finish solving this equation. So I'll write my equal sign here again. It doesn't matter what color that's in. What side do you think I should put the variable on? Now remember, I've told you, I've tried to instruct you that you always want to put it on the side that has the most. And we've got negative 7k here, and we've got negative 5k here. So what's larger? Well, negative 5 is bigger than negative 7. So that means we should move our negative 7k over to the other side by adding it. So plus 7k plus 7k. So that's going to give me over here, we're going to get 2k because 7's bigger than 5. And then over here it cancels, and then you just bring down your numbers. So you got negative 63, you got minus 45. And the next thing to do is realize I want this 2k by itself now. So it's sharing the side with the negative 45. So, you know, the whole cows and chickens thing. So let's add 45 over to the other side. And then what that's going to give me on this side is 2k because the 45's cancel. And then negative 63 plus 45 is going to give me negative 18. All right, so the last thing to do is to realize, well, how do I finish solving this? Well, this is saying basically that I have two groups of k that equals negative 18. So I want to find out what one group of k is worth. So I'm going to split that in half. I'm going to divide it by 2. And the reason I'm dividing it by 2 is because that's what my coefficient is. And then you wind up with k is equal to, and we'll keep staying yellow, negative 9. And I'm not going to do it, but if you put negative 9 into this top equation, you will see that it does indeed work out. All right, so that's kind of how you do these. They take time, and there's lots of areas where you can make mistakes, but so just work slowly and make sure you're following your orders of operation, and get rid of those parentheses first, combine your like terms, and then just do the things we've been talking about.